Gonna send it out there, guys, somewhere. The other rod's just a grip at the bottom, tiny bit of rag. So rag has gone astonishingly expensive. It's up to £20 a pound apparently now. So I had to get £10. I've tipped it off with a little bit of squid tentacle, a fish bait and rag, and tipped with a squid tentacle there. So the three are pretty close together. I'm just going to heave it out. It's pretty deep here. See what we can catch, if anything at all. If the tide rips too much, then I'll have to go back round the corner. So got high water is about 1:30ish in the afternoon. I don't normally fish and I waste my time fishing in the daytime. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a squid jig on here. I've got my spinning rod and I normally throw it out with bait, worm or something, but because it's slack water and it rips out here, I might not be able to fish here in an hour or so. So I'm just going to get what I can in with a jig while I can, if that makes sense. Loads of geese and stuff going over there, seabirds for the winter. High tide, quite a bit of weed up. I'm hoping I don't get a lot of weed. If I do, again, when the tide pours out, it's a biggish tide, I could be well and truly stuffed. First a sandwich. Let's have a look what we've got. Oh no, oh no. It strikes fear in the heart of the fisherman. Now that's got to go straight away. Excuse me, I've still got my throat. That's got to go. On a boat, I would not want it on a boat. You don't know what could go wrong with that. So I'm going to eat that right now, because otherwise, if you're superstitious, people tell us, are you superstitious? Are you scared of bananas when you're fishing? I'm petrified. Let's get it out of the way quick. Let us know in the comments page, are you put off by having the banana? Are you superstitious with one of these kiddies? I'm going to eat it and hopefully that changes immediately. Well, I'm going to have a throw around with one of these squid jigs. Apparently there's been a few caught. I think the jig's a bit too big, but and mostly it's a nighttime thing. But at the end of the day, I'll have a half hour throwing it while that tide is not ripping. Strange looking creatures, but they are well. I think this weight is too big for more of a boat fishing one, you know. I think it's too big for the shore. Wind's coming up. Listen, you can only try. Be better at deep water at night off a jetty or pier, rocky headland, something like that. Full moon night. You have a good chance, but you never know. You've got to try these things. The water is lovely and clear, so I'm pretty sure if there's a squid out there, or indeed a cuttlefish, I don't know. Do cuttlefish take these things? Who knows? I've got a little small, whatever that thing is, jig there. And 3-4 feet of, not even that, 2 feet of mono, 20-pound mono. We'll throw that out and see what happens. So just to amuse myself in between the bites that I'm not getting. He don't cast very far. Trouble is, it's a stiff rod with a very light lure, so it's probably not going to go too far at all. amazed nobody else fishing. Is it telling me something? Well, £20 a pound of worms is probably telling me something, but nevertheless you could come around with squid, go to the supermarket, get some shellfish. I'm going to walk up there, there's a little bit of a rip. I can still see the rods from here. Let's go up there and have a... Well, there, I can't go very far without... That's a real pretty one, isn't that? I'm going to take that. The wife's got a friend who loves all this sort of geology stuff. That's quite a nice one. Colours in that will clean up. No, well, it's not a blank, is it? Not really a blank. Got an empty oyster shell. See all the weeds come up here. Previously from a blow. Look, there's another one that's partly opened shells. Lots of limpets. Lots of that weed. The best place for it is up on the beach. If it's out there, I'm going to snag it. And this is the last tide line, so it's the difference between the two tide lines, I guess, there. Well, hour and a half in, absolutely not a tremble, squid, pouting, whiting, plaice, flounder, cod, bass, conger, rockling. I haven't had a rockling for some years, I must admit. Absolutely zippo. I'm sort of still holding out there with the tide, but it has dropped, because look, can you see the dark weed here? And then you can see that was the high tide, and that's dropped from there down the yard there. But what I find curious, I thought it was initially grass, but one of you guys will be able to tell me. This stuff, look, let me show you, regular seaweed. I call it rack, kelp. Well, it's not kelp, it's rack. See it, that one? Regular seaweed, got the odd little bubble in it so it floats up there. Fine, that's okay, normal stuff. But I thought this was a heap of grass cuttings. But it's actually not, it's some form of weed, look. And you think, oh, somebody must have dumped something somewhere and it's just got washed around. Just who knows what that is? Because it's bright green, so it's been living. Does it live floating in the sea? Look, down here, there's yards of it. All this tide here is mostly this green stuff. Occasionally there's a bit of the regular, what I call brown, look, regular brown seaweed, we all recognise that. So what is this green stuff? It's not eelgrass, is it? You know, the squid come in. I don't think it's eelgrass. What on earth is it? It's all the way along, all the way along, all the way here. Loads of it, loads of it. I can't actually find... Now, who can ID that for me? Because I can't actually find... It's very, very light. Is there a root end to it? We've had no storms. It's been very, very, very calm for like 10 days now. Anyhow, answers on a postcard. Comments page, please, experts out there. What on earth is this bright green weed that's below the line over here? Well, what I intend doing is giving it as long as I can here. As it gets towards dusk, do you know, I think I'm just going to move and go down on the main open beach there. I just thought it would be better here, being there's tide, there's flow. And I know it's heavy now because you can see that down here, you can see it's dropped at least a metre. Not in depth, just gone back up the beach. So it's a weird one, and I thought it'd be really good. But did you really think you're catching in daylight, Graeme? Well, sort of might have got lucky. And I've got a whole squid out there, big bait, so you are thinking big fish. But the small hooks just keep coming back stripped. So crabs are out there anyway. So I've fished what I consider to be the best of this. I can see now the tide is actually moving quite strongly out there. All the ripples and boils where it was coming in have changed. Where I went looking down the end there, the sort of overfall area, I'm going to call it, where the ripples were, which I thought might be good for lure fishing. That's changed. I can see by the stake over there, you know, it's starting to pour out, so it will pick up probably mid-tide. Whether I remain to be holding on it, I don't know. I'll go out here a bit. You can see it's lovely and clear. I have to say, it's lovely and clear. See, look, there's that grassy weed down there. So is it a floating weed? Well, it is at the moment, obviously. And it's all starting to creep that way, so the tide is going to pull quite hard. I've got grip leads on, should be alright to hold. Not one other angler. Same old last man standing business. Last man standing, sitting, blanking. But it is a wide open place, isn't it, the ocean? Makes a whole different ball game. This is fishing here to going in lakes and places that are stocked. This isn't stocked. This is tough. I'm staying till it's dark. I said to the wife I'll be home about 5 o'clock. I won't be. I know I won't be. I'm going to tough it out. £10 for 8 ounces of worms. I'm definitely toughing it out. One blank totally. Well, I have. Look, basically just getting stripped. There's something you don't see on a beach very often. I see it out in a boat. A whelk. The big ones are called a dog whelk. He's actually a predatory shellfish, I'm calling it. Who can confirm that the whelk is a predatory shellfish? And there he's had a go at that worm and squid. I wonder if it's them that's stripping it all off. I fear it's crabs, but there you go. I won't use it for bait because I've got enough squid there. Save the blank with a whelk. Right, that's the last cast of this spot, guys. I'm going to have to move. The tide is really pulling now. You won't see it, but it's started to bump the grip leads down, so I'm going to give it to about 3. Unfortunately, I've got to pack the whole lot up because I can't carry it otherwise, and lug it a good half a mile around the beach there and tackle up and set up again, and then I will go into the probably first hour dark. Strange, not a bite. I'm amazed considering I've now got the current that I wanted, but just too much of it. Pleasant enough day though, or afternoon, albeit it's going to get cold later on. Well, as a crow flies, I haven't come very far, but I've come out of the channel and about 3 breakwaters down. I'm going to give it a go here. I've got the squid which I'm going to lump out, and then when it gets dark I'll just go to worms on everything, worms and squid strips. So let's get this one out. Hopefully I'll get them all out before it gets the light goes. Not pretty, but it's out there, guys. Right, let's get it out there. Got the wind slightly off my back here, so it made my casting look better than it is. Mind you, the fish don't appreciate it, do they? Probably really, if I was getting 90 yards I'd probably be pleased, to be honest, with bait. More like 80, being realistic. I don't really care how far I cast as long as where the fish are. At this stage in the proceedings, I'm looking for, yes, a bite, a nibble on the rod top. Right, let's get the old shotgun spinning rod out. Maybe I should have bought the beach shelter. In retrospect, I'm banking on this hoodie keeping me warm. I never normally move, I call them swims, patches of beach, but there's just too much tide down the other channel and no fish. So I figure come back to the area and just throw and hope, like so many beach anglers do. Throw it out and hope. Helicopter out to sea there is working away, whether he's doing a training exercise or somebody's got problems out there. The wind's definitely picked up, but luckily off my back. And of course, I'm going to be fishing low water, which again is not what you'd really want. But on one of my other films I mentioned, all this beach reclamation, call it what you will, I feel is washing back and killing off a lot of the ecology close in. So if I'm going down, I might actually reach some natural seabed. I might. There we go. The old Wacanosta rig. Baits all close together. That's far enough, I know. Far enough for a blank and close enough in for a booty. That's pretty close, Graeme. Very close, half an inch. No other anglers even here. Can you blame them? Do I walk back and get the shelter? I think I put the ballast in just in case anything does grab hold of a large size. I think I'm going to leave the beach shelter. They've only given light winds. It will get cold, and I will get cold, but it's sort of northeasterly at the moment. So I've got a hot tea in a flask. Well, you know, I mean, the wife did call it tea. No, I made this one myself, so it's definitely tea. It still tastes pretty rancid, though. See, once we get the whiting come in, and that's about all there is. Hopefully they come in. Listen, I was down Devon a week ago, just over a week ago. No black bream. It was heaving with big. You haven't seen the film yet. I'll put it up next year sometime. It was heaving with really big whiting, really big one. I'm going to do some cook-ups with them. Well, here's my home, tucked in behind the breakwater. Oh, dear. So it's flat calm, which is, it's just sort of nice to fish in, isn't it? But fish, I'm always moaning. Now I'm deciding it's too clear and it is churning up with a big storm. The ideal with a shallow water beach is you come after a storm, after it's been a big blow and it's churned all the bits of food up and stirred all the shoreline up, and that really is the best time to come. So what can I say, this was just a hunch. I just fancied giving it a go, and I'm hoping, just banking, I might scratch out one fish to salvage the trip when it's dark. I haven't got the night camera. I've only got the old GoPro here and a spare GoPro, and they're no good at night anyway. So I just sit here, got one round of sandwiches left, half a flask of tea, and some weird healthy bar thing that the wife's given me. That's not the bar where you get a pint of doom, not that type of bar. A wafer and rice and bean or some bar, which is probably awful, but does probably keep you alive. Come on, let's see a rod rattle, please. Well guys, that wasn't the world's greatest fishing trip, was it? I stayed late, I stayed into the dark, I left my whole squid out there. I had a banging, tugging, banging dogfish bite, left him 4 days, wound in the strut, nothing, he left it, and one other tiny bite. That's nearly 6 hours fishing, with baits out there small enough to catch small fish, zippo. So, in a raging fury, I'm going to take you guys into my totally awesome workshop with a tackle tip that might help you if you're boat fishing. Let's get in there. Right, into the totally awesome workshop. Now listen, this is a tip boat fishing. We're all going to lose fish now and then, and even on wire, if the fish is deep hooked, maybe you're better to snip that wire, let the hook rust out, and then start again, just re-rig. It's just the way it is. That's what happened when I was out fishing recently in a boat, and I ended up with just like this. You think, oh, I'll throw that away. Well, don't throw it away. It's got a swivel and it's got what we call a biting length of wire. You can still use that with another hook and put an extension of mono on it as a bit of rubbing leader in case you get a longer fish like a tope or a conger. And probably like me, you're going to get hooks left over. You think, look, some people just go, I'm going to throw them all away and go and buy some new ones. I don't do that. What I've been doing, I had quite a lot of hooks, in the bottom of tackle boxes, back of trays, dropped down the back of here, left in the garage. I put them with some regular oil, car oil, into this box, right? They were rusty, shook them up, left them for, well, I forgot them. They're all in there. I'm going to tip them out. Bear in mind, these are rusty hooks. It seems like they've sort of soaked all the oil up, look. There's stacks of hooks in there, look. And they can all be sharpened up. Some of these, look, okay, they're when I go to Florida and used to do trolling with ballyhoos. They're called needle eye hooks. They just got a needle eye shape to them. There's an old tuna circle hook. Now this one I think I got out of a marlin, I seem to remember, but I've kept it. Ones like that, what I call a regular, just a regular hook. Look, they're all usable. They all will take a bit of a stone. I mean, I've got a stone here to sharpen with, or you can try a file. You can put a point on them, and it's more for, I'm going to call it, there's a short shank wide gape live bait hook there that we use for marlin. Another one there. All these hooks will take a point. I'm not saying some of the smaller ones, I can just use them, just touch them with a small stone. But there's hooks there to be used, and that's exactly what I'm going to do and get myself a use out of something I wouldn't have had before. I think, what size? That one there. So you can get your stone. I just happened literally to have this one. Very fine one, this one. You can do it with a file. In fact, you need a file to go on the inside of the point, and these are slightly inturned. You won't probably see that. That's getting a point on it already. And I'm going to bring it up on the inside either with a file, or indeed you can use a folded over piece of wet and dry emery paper like that. And stuff like conger, ling, bull husk, bottom feeding species, rays. We're not talking tarpon and bonefish, are we? You know, where you need a super sharp hook. Oh, that's better. That's usable. Just start to hang in the skin there. How long did that take? Seconds. Now, we've been doing this a while. I've been doing it a long time. Can you see the barb there? Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Let's put it on there. You'll be able to see it. Now, that's about as close as this camera's going to get in. If I use the end of these pliers, look, there is the barb. Now, when you're trying to T-bar fish off, it can be a real annoying factor, twisting and thrashing around. But what I try and do is just get, as you can see, I'm hoping this camera's going to show it, just in the barb itself, pop, hear it? Now, that little tick has just snapped that off there. So that is effectively a barb, and there's a little tiny ridge there. If I had a more fierce barb, I could show you. There's one there. Right, this one, look at that one, look, that's horrendous. So it's fine for getting the fish and keeping the fish on, but it's also going to be difficult getting it out. So these you can just rock like this. I'll show you in a second. It's a different type of steel in this hook, see? Right, now that, hopefully you can see that. See how I bent the barb right back? You can even go a bit more. So it just leaves a little bit of a bobble on the end of it, if you like. You can, look, if you're carpy, you can call it semi-barbless there. I'd be happy with that. So when you hook a fish, there's no sharp barb there. There's just enough of a ridge to try and hold the hook in. And therefore, you can reuse your hooks. But I would do this with new hooks. Don't just do it with old hooks. Take that barb down. Look. Maybe you can see the difference there. There, you can see I've just crushed it, just rolled it over with a pair of pliers. If they snap, fine. If they bend over, it's sort of even better. Just roll it. Like that, and you'll find that's much easier to get out. Right, let's rig one of these wire traces up and see if we can salvage it and make another nice 5-foot trace of it. Put the sleeve up on the mono, do the same thing through the eye of the swivel. You don't need to go through twice, but you just do it out of habit if you've been catching big fish, because at the end of the day, if the crimp does slip, it will jam down and at least have the knot there to pinch into. I just knocked them all on the floor, lovely. All my sleeves. Hopefully you guys are getting this. Now I don't do the mono as hard as I would on the wire. These are better cutters, these are my sharp release cutters there. Okay, so I've got my reclaimed hook there, just doing one turn in it. Not doing the full Flemish eye with 2 turns. Just about see to get that mini double sleeve on there. Snug it all down as tight as you want. Close the crimp. Make sure you get the crimp open like that. We call open, not horizontal. You want it, oh, give that a good squeeze because it's the business end. Snip off the tag end like this, like that. Now you could get a tiny tag in there. Years ago I used to whip cotton over those, but I don't bother now, to be honest. Just be aware there is a tag in there. If you get hand gloves on and a really big fish pulls away like this, you're pulling, you can get a little piece of that into your glove. It won't pull you overboard, or maybe it will if it's a really big fish. Need to be a big fish in Britain to pull you over. So there you go. I've made myself a trace. It's basically hooks that are probably 4 or 5 years old, a spare piece of wire that I'd already lost a fish on, and all it's taken me is another 2'6" of heavy mono, and I've got 5 foot, nearly 6 foot trace. So I'm going to knock a few more up. You can just coil them up and that's ready to go. And if you do get bust off, just cut all your swivels off, and you can put the swivels into this box, you know, where you put all the hooks in the oil, and just shake them around and you sort of forget about them. I don't know where the rust has gone. It seems to have gone. Happy days. I've got about 100 hooks there. I'm going to rig up 5 or 6 conger hooks. Let's go. The other thing I'm going to do is, I've got my old caravan battery out here. I've unscrewed the top. You call it a lead acid battery, is that me? You know, it's all covered, the plates are covered in there. It's not been used for God knows how long. I used to use my, it's a Leisure Plus, 100 amp I think it is. I'm going to try and get Mike to charge that up. And then once that's charged up, I can use it for one of 2 things. Maybe in electric boat, you know, not a bait boat, no, I'm a bit big for a bait boat, it would sink, wouldn't it? Also, I could use it as well as running around on the Pike Lake. Very often the battery goes, and I get back on low gear. If it's windy, I struggle, you know, the old electric motor struggles against it. So I've taken my own battery, I know it's charged. So I could do that, and also, I'm looking around, I used to have lights here. I wonder if I could get that in my cart barrow, wheel it down to a pier somewhere on the south coast, light it up and have a go squid fishing on the next full moon, big tide. That's the theory. Now, I'm not I'm not a huge one to get controversial, but I know I didn't do any good last night, but the worms were a bit, not just because they're expensive and they've gone up again. Look at the size of some of these worms. I purposely just kept them. Well, there wasn't any fish taking them. Look, my hook's probably that size. Look, not even that. Look, that's a full-size worm. That's not a snap tail. Look the size of my thumbnail. Tiny, tiny things. Just above harbour rag size. No, it's only a rant. I just thought I'd bring it to the attention of people that supply the worms that I think people should have at least a decent sized worm, shouldn't they? It's not asking a lot, but if they're putting the price up, let's have the quality up as well. What do you guys think out there? I'm not a bait digger. I've done a bit of bait digging. It's hard work. I will pay for it. I have paid for it. But at the end of the day, if I'm paying for it, I want a halfway decent bait. What do you guys think? Another thing you want to do is make sure when you've been out, and I do this religiously, spray off your rods and reels. So I do it boat fishing, I do it beach fishing. Even though, you know, you might not have had waves crashing over them, that salt eats into everything. Tighten the drags up as well. Just do the drags up tight to push the drag plates together so water doesn't get in there. And then after you've washed them off, you can release them. It's just, and you do it with the lever drag reels. If you've got boat reels or star drag reels, tighten them up and then rinse off. And then obviously, you know, you dry them, but I tend to let them, you know, dry on their own in the store, garage, workshop. Don't put them in the containers. Do my boots as well. I don't need to. They're neoprene, but just wash the salt off. So there you go. A few tips to make sure tackle works second time round. Also, I wash off my knives, and it's a bit bizarre, but I wash off my rigs as well because I don't want to be tying on new hooks all the time. If you rinse them all off like that in fresh water, get the salt off, when you wrap them up, they should be okay next time round and you'll get a little bit more life out of them. I like to make things last if I can. Well, with the freezing weather, we went for a walk down the New Forest, a place called Boulderwood, which is a nice a nice place to go if you go with nice weather. So listen, it's the middle of winter. What do you expect? It's fairly you know, cold to say the least, with cold rain as well. We'd had cold freezing rain, but we wanted to go for a walk and we're looking for deer. Can we find any deer at all? When I say we, the girls just wanted to go out for a bit of exercise and drive, but obviously I like to take the camera with me because you never know what you find. Lovely pine section of forest there. As you can see, they are thoroughly enjoying their day out, getting absolutely soaked legs and stuff. But I am looking around all the time, you know, seeing what I can find. And there I went into a grove here. I thought maybe the deer would be in there, but of course there's not much feed inside a pine forest, is there? It's going to be on the edges that you're going to spot them, if you're going to spot any at all. So I did have a good old walk around, and the girls have gone miles away. It's still colourful seeing all the bracken there, you know, despite the weather. And of course another 3 months we've got, 3 months before we get some decent weather and some decent greenery coming through. And what's this? I thought, oh, is this a skull? Is it a deer skull? Now somebody out there must know, tell us. It's some sort of, I don't know, is it some weird fungus? Look at it. It's just powder. And here, at last I found proof of deer. I feel this is the antler being ripped and scraped against one of the trees. I don't know if they're trying to take the edge off the antlers, you know, the furry stuff on the outside, or whether they're trying to get rid of the antler. That, somebody tell me, I feel that is the deer rubbing up and down with his antlers. But would I find them? it was another step. I'm looking around for marks, but of course with all the leaves, there's not much I can see. And then, oh, lo and behold, out in the open, I'm scanning around looking, because they're going to be somewhere on the edge at this time, late afternoon before it gets dark. So I'm looking around the edges to see if I can actually see anything. Here we go. Uncle Graeme finally found them. No tripod, so excuse the camera shake. I managed to get it zoomed in as far as I can there. And that is like one adult, two juniors there. None with antlers, you know, just what I call regular deer. I'm going to call them fallow deer, because that's what it said on the sign. Hasn't got the dots to it. That one looks like he's got a weak left front leg. So there you go. But of course, it doesn't stop there. I look in my files and discover that I went on to the Isle of Wight searching for a legendary red squirrel, which I never knew existed on the Isle of Wight. I'm going to be perfectly frank. So well, I won't be frank, it could be Bill or Ted, you know what I mean. Anyway, in amongst this fungus, I saw something rustling and moving, and that's because there was a woman who had been feeding a red squirrel, and I finally got the footage of this dude, and I've never seen one before, obviously on camera. Look how close I got, my goodness me. That's real sort of Blue Planet stuff, isn't it? And I love the way he's got tufts on his ears, and the way the tail curves back round. He's much, much prettier than the awful grey one which kills all our trees, kills the young birds, kills the eggs. But this is a pretty little chap. And a lovely rusty colour. I thought they were only on Brownsea Island, I've got to be honest, down in Poole Harbour, and up in Scotland somewhere. I really did. So I was kind of surprised when somebody said, no, you might be able to get a shot of a red squirrel in this area of the Isle of Wight. Little robin looking on there. A rain again for Graeme. Uncle Graeme gets the rain. But I was pleased to get the squirrel. You can see there somebody put some feed there for them. Or say them, him. Cute little chap. So, that's another one crossed off my bucket list. Filming a red squirrel, and I'm well pleased with how close I managed to get to it. Have any of you ever seen red squirrels in the wild like this? Now over to the trail cam, and there's a creature going down there. I don't know what it is. It seemed to have a long tail. Look, trail cams have been out. This time last winter, up in Mike's Woodland. And there we've got a deer, hopefully not stripping off the red oak saplings that we planted up there, but very possibly. Here is coming quite close. I'm calling this a roe deer. Deer experts out there, please do tell us. Answer on a postcard. I don't know if it's the same one or a different one. Well, I just checked this one out. This is a hare, absolutely climbing around there, having fun. There's a deer, I think it's a roe deer, come right in at night. You can see 3 degrees, almost a year ago, 15 for the first, and there's a pair of eyes in the background, and there you can see another deer. Look how close this hare has come to the camera lens. 2 deer going through, middle of the night. It's pitch black. This is a trail cam, so it picks up in the pitch dark. There's a hare again. I just find it interesting putting these trail cams out, because you don't know what you're going to find at night, do you? You know, and how close they come. I mean, this hare's really close, but he's spooked off there. And little wonder why when you think, yes, there's creatures around like Mr. Freddy the Fox here, who is probably digging around, looks like worms or something. He's found something there. Could have been something left over from Mike camping in the woods, who knows? He looks in good condition, this one. It's not like the urban foxes where they have an 18-month lifespan, I think, an urban fox, and they've generally got mange and other stuff, but it could be they're eating all the rubbish that the humans leave over, whereas in the fox in the wild, he's eating fresh stuff, isn't he? Even if it's worms and beetles, he'd love to get hold of a pheasant or, you know, especially that rabbit. There we go, the hare going through again. I'm assuming it's the same hare that comes back each time. You can see it's almost a year ago there, that and it's -5. I mean, how cold is it? And no wonder he's moving, because here comes Mr. Fox at -5. I'm imagining he must be checking out the scent of that hare. And this is amazing when you think it's pitch black. There is not a camera floodlight there, folks. It is pitch black. And this is what the trail cams pick up. He's looking straight at the camera lens then. As I say, I put 4 of these out. I find it from time to time, not all the time obviously, just when it takes my fancy, just different times of the year to see what's about there. But it's amazing because Mike camps around here, and there is a beautiful coloured jay in the daytime shot there. But what can set the camera off is quite annoying. Oh, here comes Mr. Hare again. 1 degree, cold. Yeah, what does set the trail cam off can be wind, so you've got to sort of set them up where you've got no branches blowing or leaves and stuff like that, movement in the background. He's come right up to the lens. Really nice looking hair, and again looks really healthy to me. Off he goes. I've got that one down as a rabbit. It's got shorter ears and a rump. But you see what I mean about these? These are, I think, are red wings. They might be fieldfare, or look, I know there's pigeons in there. Of course I know there's grey pigeons, wood pigeons. But the little flicking movement sets the trail cam off all the time. They're looking for worms and insects under the leaves. And it's quite annoying because I might get 300 clips to go through of just fieldfare flicking over the leaves. Quite annoying. I'm assuming maybe it's the same fox. Who knows? He's poking around there. And here is a male pheasant going through the camera frame. Quite leisurely, considering there is a fox in the area, in that same spot. I've got this one down as a muntjac deer. They have a lovely coat to them, and they are. Mike shot one, and they're nice eating. They are nice eating. I've eaten them. They are nice eating. The best of the British deer for eating, they tell me. And this deer, well, I mean, goodness me, look how close he's come to the camera lens. In fact, he's just about to eat the camera. You can see him steaming the lens up, and then you see his mouth going. He's obviously not bothered at all. He might even be fascinated by the little red light that goes off when it trips. Now, here's something different. Tesco's car park. Last week this was. It was a very rare occurrence of Venus, almost not in alignment, but very, very close to the moon. And you can see the dark side of the moon. Is that not the title of the album from Pink Floyd? Dark Side of the Moon. So if I zoom in, somebody might say, oh, it's the Mir space station. No, the Mir space station is not circular. So although it's blurred, that's the full zoom I've got handheld, and that is Venus. It only lasted, I think, 1 day in that position. And by the time I got home, look at the angle it's changed, but beautiful colours in the moon there, that sort of amber colour I found. Now look out guys, 13th of January 2025, the wolf moon, the dreaded wolf moon is coming. Look it up, have a Google, see what you can find out. But that's a great shot, I was well pleased to get that. Venus with the moon. So then it was off to pop in and see Grant in the air rifles, been doing a bit of target shooting, and plinking, they call it plinking, where you just knock cans and stuff over or anything you fancy really. He's got it all in there, anything you want, he's got all the air rifle stuff.
Hi Graeme, right, so you popped in today, look at the gun stuff, and I believe you've been playing around with some exploding targets and you've let one off.
Oh, I have indeed, yeah.
They are very good, so they're 45mm disc, you get 5 in a packet and you'll get a little like plate as well, but I think the ones that I'll let you...
Is that like a backing plate or something?
It's like a backing plate, so you can screw it to something,
yes,
and then click your exploding targets in, so it gives it something to hold it.
Are they like magnetic or are they sticky back or something? I think
generally, some are sticky back, some are magnetic, and occasionally some of the other ones I've had just give you like a screw hole, so you just have to put a little self-tapping wood screw in it. So distance-wise,
for people doing that,
well,
to get the loudest bang is what you want.
The loudest, it'll make the same bang regardless, as long as you strike it. So yeah. I would say with the sub 12 air rifle, like what we've got behind us,
yes.
You probably say the 30-40 yard mark, maybe 50 if you're a good
shot. Oh really,
shot.
as long as that?
Yeah. So otherwise, you know, they're for a bit of fun, aren't they?
Give it it's definitely fun. Yeah, I've done one. Yeah, we'll put a clip up after we've done this bit, yeah?
Yeah, so, you know, that's one of the things we do with the garden plinking, is that makes it a bit more exciting, you know. Some of the other stuff we also put in some garden plinking that are still in the shop.
So that'd be a fun thing to put probably at the end of a bit of target shooting, as far away as you can.
See if you can hit it.
And see if you can hit it, yeah.
The ultimate finishing bit. But they are loud, so they do give a big bang, so be aware of where you're using them, you don't upset your neighbours probably. In here I've got a knockdown box, which is what we call a duck target box. Basically, you shoot each individual duck down. I'll show you that.
From what distance again? Whatever
Again,
you want?
50 yards, something like that.
Quite some time.
But most of it is shot at 30 yards in air rifles, yeah? So most of the clubs...
That's a standard club
Standard
setting.
club sort of distance, so it'd be a 30 and a 50. So, so you've shot all your ducks down.
Yep.
The old ones, you just pull a string and walk back down and reset them. At least with this one, you just shoot the middle bar, if I can reach it.
Oh, that's
and then
interesting,
all your ducks pop back up, so they just stick on a magnet. So really nice and easy.
And your pellets are inside?
Pellets catch inside, so it is a pellet catcher, which is obviously good for people who are not going to get in trouble at home with the wife having lead pellets all over the garden. So another one we've got, so you can either have them as knock down targets, let them shoot them down as you go, or you shoot them through there so you know you still hit them.
Will that knock them back up or not necessarily?
If the rifle is heavy enough, not necessarily, because I think if it bounces, it's more likely
to go back down again.
So
yeah.
it's just to give you something else to shoot through.
Yeah, yeah. Rather than do 4 and have to walk all the way down the end of the garden, you've got 8.
Another option to shoot 8. Yeah, exactly that. So, and then we obviously got standard target, so 14 centimetre, 17 centimetre. So that's just your standard, which would normally go in a pellet cone catcher, which I've run out of actually, just being after Christmas. We've done quite a lot. This is what we're actually going to show on the back. These are called a 5+1. So on this side you get 1. On the reverse side you get 5.
Yeah.
So obviously getting in for your more serious shooters might want to go to the smaller targets.
You need to go to Specsavers.
Specsavers,
I'll put my finger there, you can see the size of the target.
And you also get the same on the 17
and
centimetre.
all the circles marked there.
Well, I would expect you to be hitting the dot in the middle, Graeme.
Yeah, dream on, dream on.
And obviously the same on the larger 17 centimetre, you get the 5 targets. And then if you get really serious, we can write down how well or how bad you did them.
Oh, that's interesting, like going back to school. So beginners, we'll probably start on that.
Beginners will start. Mind, these are popular as well because you could have like almost like a shoebox filled with magazines because the pellet will not penetrate and go through that. And these are just big adhesive stickers. So you'd stick that onto your whatever you're
backboard or something,
something like that, yeah. And then basically, you've got split out targets on here as well.
So does it make that sort of, rather than just a straight hold, it bursts?
Yeah, so it bursts, so you can actually see the hole on it. So, and then what you do is you get the option. So, like, say you've shot this one out and you've got dots all over it.
Sure.
You've got some little sticker spots, so you can just stick them back over the top.
Yeah, yeah.
And that allows you to carry on again, basically.
No, you're not going through the same hole or something like that.
Yeah, not going through the same hole, so saving a bit. So you these you get, I should know off the top of my head, you get 12 adhesive stickers inside and 144 repair plasters.
So all fun for in your garden, but make sure you've got either a catching box or a backstop, I'm calling it.
So either like a big board up there, I generally find if you've got like an 8x4 sheet and stood it up, something large, you ain't going to shoot through it.
Yep.
Line it with a bit of carpet or some carpet tiles, that when the pellet hits the board, it's not whack, which is the noise that annoys your neighbour. So it keeps it a bit quieter. That's another adhesive sticker I do on the smaller ones. So I don't know if they're 2 inches, something like that. So, but yeah, you get 4 on a packet, so you get.
So again, you mentioned like 30 yards.
Yeah.
So for me, anything 30 yards and above, handheld, even on a table or something, a little bit of waving around there.
Yeah, you get.
What's the next thing to rest on?
So the next thing to rest on, you either got rest bags, which is like your cheapest option. So they just come as an empty bag, and then you fill them with something like sand or something like that. To give it its weight and sort of stability to lean on. I have known people to put rice and pasta in them before, which is all right until you get them wet.
Yeah.
And then they swell up. So I would suggest sanding them, gives you the weight on it and it doesn't move. So yeah, very handy to shoot. But you get like a front rest and a little rest bag on the rear. I don't know about that again.
And target shooting, they use is a standard, that type of thing, don't
Very
they?
standard.
So I know it's not just me getting the shakes, as it were.
No.
As much as you hold it and you think you got it, even breathing, there's a little bit of quiver on there. Not that I'm matchman shooting,
but most air rifle shooting will be done either leaning, standing, or like resting off something. Yeah. So another option we've got, if you don't like the rest bag and you want to, we just do this like a plastic triangle cone rest. If you like. So you've got a foam pad sticker on the top. It's just one size, no adjustment, and obviously let me see a picture on the side. That's sort of the idea of it. Obviously we've got other weird and wonderful inventions for it. You get more advanced stands that twist up and down to do your heights, but as if you're starting off, all this sort of stuff we've got out on the counter today, from your rest bag starting at sort of £12.50, You know, your plastic cone, as I call them, at 18 is a bit better.
These are the boys.
They're brilliant.
I'll do a film with Mike and we'll be up in his woods and it echoes so bad that the gendarme will be round again. Just out of interest, are there such things as air rifle clubs that people could get and join?
Yeah, lots of air rifle clubs. So a lot of air rifle clubs won't promote themselves, because they just don't. It's not always very PC for everyone, but it's an air rifle club shooting a pellet. So what I suggest is just jump on Google and type in your local area air rifle clubs, and you'll be amazed at how many air rifle clubs are still running.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few. So we're in the local area to us, so it's probably at least 10 that I know of.
And I can see using these, yes, even Graham's going to set these exploding targets off. But just at, say, at club level target shooting, do they do lying, kneeling, standing? Do they have different? They do that then,
So you'll have, like, it depends, they do different variations of it. HFT, so high field targets, so they shoot up to 50 yards, but they will actually go out and they'll be kneeling. So one knee on the floor, shoot, bang, then have to move to another point, shoot.
Oh, I see,
Different disciplines within.
It's like a discipline, isn't it? Yeah.
So you'll have like a 50-yard range, a 30-yard. They might have spinner targets and one. They might have some. There's different disciplines within it. So I'm not really a target shooter myself. I do bits and pieces, but I'm not into it as a match standard. So if you go to one of the local clubs, they can start you off at your beginner start.
Yes, give you the tips.
Leading up to if you get really serious into it, to competition level. So you've got every opportunity to do it. So,
and because you've got a mass of pellets here, all that we spoke about before, do different things with your gun.
And you will find a particular gun likes different pellets. You might have two guns that are exactly the same, but they do favour two different pellets.
Gotcha.
So, it's always worth popping in your local gun shop, ask the general information on them, and then start from there. Really. And
on these kiddies, I put them there. A 177 will still do it?
It will do. So basically, as long as you penetrate that disc, it will explode and give you the reaction that you're looking for.
And I know catapults are popular now. Would they set them off as well?
Perfect, yeah. You better doubt the catapult as well.
Yeah.
So, very good. So, good fun. You can use it for multi-use, really. So, if you're very good at throwing, you might want to throw a stone at it.
Oh, don't, yeah. Okay, and anybody wants to come and see Grant, he's got loads and loads of gun stuff here. So, he'll give you all the tips you want on all the scopes are there as well. Grant, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Might move back a little bit further. I hope the wife remembered when I told her, don't come out in the garden for a minute. Going to test one of the wood first. It's obviously working. Now, see if I can hit the target. Ooh. That looks like a crooked pellet to me. We'll try it, shall we, guys? Right. Holy, holy SHI. Yeah, he's right. Grant was very right. You won't be disappointed, that's for sure. Well, thanks for watching this section of the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. We'll see you in the next one. I don't know if it's going to be beach fishing. It might have to be pike fishing or something like that, because I'm having terrible trouble getting fish off the beach at the moment. Yes, I could go at 2 o'clock in the morning when the tide's right and all that and drive 300 miles. No, not at my age. I like to go when the ordinary guys, Joe Average, goes once a few hours during the day, a little bit of dusk fishing and catch something. It's harder and harder. But I'm not giving up. We'll see you in the next show.